Welcome back to Pasta. I am Craig Pasta Jardula. Thank you for that small little break. My good friend Aram was over there saying messages. It's just a natural habit to say we'll be right back after these messages. There's no messages. The message is I have a new show. It is called Pasta to Go. We will be here every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. We hope to add a Saturday show, but we will first want to make sure that we can build upon our success of the Tuesdays and Thursdays show and get everything right. For instance, the lighting, the camera, we have some work to do over there. The cadence between me and Cheese Slice. I do have a couple people that are helping us out with the show, a great staff. So we look forward to bringing you a great show. Let's get to the next story right now. Over here, the U.S. lawmakers vote to permanently freeze $6 billion in Iranian. Now, this is coming from December 1st, but it's something I wanted to bring to the table because ever since the situation has happened in the Gaza Strip with Hamas, the United States government, the mainstream media, especially on Fox News, I make fun of the liberal media doing the full court press about Donald Trump and talking about his indictments. Well, the conservative media, whether you want to call it Newsweek or Newsmax, whatever that show is, Fox News, they keep on saying things like Houthi terrorists. They keep using this language that implies that Houthis, a state-sponsored coalition of sorts, their own militia, their own army, standing army, that they're terrorists. So they use that term loosely. And what they've been doing from the get-go is tying the Houthis to Iran. Now, you can believe that because they are both Shia military, but tying Hamas to Iran, which is more of a Sunni military that has more ties to the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt, it's very, very odd, but they've been very pro-war. And so on 30 November, the U.S. House of Representatives in a 307 to 119, well, at least we got some votes against, passed a bill that would force the White House to permanently freeze $6 billion in Iranian funds released back in September as part of a successful prisoner exchange deal. So they already made the deal, but the war hawks in Congress, especially the conservative war hawks, welcome back to the table. We missed you for a little while. No, we didn't miss you. But now they're back. They're pushing Iran, a war with Iran, as hard as they can. Giving Iran access to these funds for any purpose frees up money for its malign activities, including its support to proxies like we saw on October 7th, like Hamas. Representative Michael McCall, who introduced the bill, told reporters, and this is from the Credo. The U.S. Senate has introduced similar legislation to freeze the Iranian funds, but has yet to pass it out of committee. So they're trying to do this across the board. There is some pushback against that. They made a deal, a prisoner exchange. They agreed to release the funds that belong to Iran, but now they want to freeze it, and they are trying desperately to tie everything to Iran. The Houthis, Hamas, everything. Despite the accusation from West Iranian authorities maintain they had no previous knowledge of the plans by Hamas to launch Operation Aqsa Flood. I can hardly even say that. I'm sorry. I'll get that word better. And have repeatedly stressed Tehran has no interest in seeing the hostilities expand into a regional war. They don't want this war, but it's obvious the United States does. That's why they're referring to Iran proxies, the attacks in Iraq, Iran proxies, the attacks in Syria, Iran proxies. They were with Iran. And you know who wants war with Iran more than the United States? You got it, Israel. In September, Tehran and Washington completed a landmark prisoner exchange deal brokered by Qatar that also saw the transfer of $6 billion in frozen Iranian funds seized by South Korea due to the U.S. sanction. The billions were transferred by Seoul to Qatari accounts of sub-Iranian banks using the SWIFT system, thanks to a sanctions waiver provided by Washington. Despite the U.S. officials claiming in the wake of the deal that they would police the use of the funds, Iranian authorities stressed these would be used to acquire whatever the Iranians need. National sovereignty. Oh my God, they're going to be able to use the funds the way the Iranians want to? Dare they? At the time, a Washington-based think tank considered the deal a softball maneuver by the White House to publicly kickstart the easing of tensions with Tehran. Why would we want to ease tensions? We want to have war all the time, right? No, let's make peace, not war. But they don't seem to think that's the way to go. And let's not forget that we're the ones who removed the CIA, Mossadegh, after World War II, and put in the Shah, who was a puppet government for so long, that brought in the theocrats in the first place. So we should be learning a lesson that the more we get involved, the worse it's going to be in these countries. This move was seen as a way to navigate around the resistance of congressional representatives and pressure from Israel hawks against reviving the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, the JPOA. That's the deal that Donald Trump said was awful, that Barack Obama kind of touted. That was his claim to fame. But take a look at this. U.S. drone strike kills 5 pro-Iranian militants in Iraq. So if they're any type of Shia whatsoever, they're going to constantly say, Iran, 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 pro-Iranian militants. The U.S. airstrike in northern Iraq killed at least 5 pro-Iranian militants on Sunday. You don't even have to say they're Iranians. You could just say they're pro-Iranian. Why? Because they're going to use the Shia-Sunni argument. Oh, they're Shia. They're pro-Iran. We have a right to kill them. It's Iran. Iran, 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 Iran. This stuff was written a month ago. The other article was written almost 2 months ago, and we are getting closer and closer to a confrontation or a conflict, if you will, with Iran. The U.S. military official claimed that the attack was a self-defense strike against a drone launch, according to the AFP. Remember that from George Bush? Preemptive attacks. We got to kill them over there so they don't kill us over here. We're attacking them offensively in defense. You get it? A good defense is a good offense. That's what George Bush says. The strike came a day after Baghdad had warned Washington against attacks on its territory. And just as recent, Iraq is trying to make a deal to get the U.S. military out of their country. A self-defense strike was carried out on a drone staging site, the U.S. official said, on condition of anonymity. It took place in the vicinity of Kirkuk and targeted an imminent threat, he added. The raid targeted a site used by an armed group affiliated with Hashed al-Sahashaba, a coalition of former paramilitary forces integrated into Iraq's regular military, a senior security official Kirk province said. And here it is. This is Mr. John Kirby. Do you have this up and ready by any chance, buddy? No, you do not. But John Kirby said the U.S. placed sanctions on Flyby Baghdad airline and its CEO for supporting Iran in Iraq, Syria, and Lebanon, and a business that facilitates and launders funds for Hezbollah, per NSC's John Kirby. The U.S. is also placing more sanctions on Hamas. So that's what they're doing, ladies and gentlemen. And this is how this thing can spin way out of control. The real here is the alliance between Iran and Russia. If somehow a Russian base gets hit or Russian soldiers get hit, I don't think Russia is going to do what they've done in the past when it came to Syria and said, you're bad, okay, we'll let it slide. This could escalate out of control, and we've been saying this for quite some time. That's when Fiorello, my business partner, was very critical of RFK, saying, if you're going to be pro-Israel, you can't be a peace candidate because of situations like this. So that's that, ladies and gentlemen. We look like we are about to go to war with Iran. Things seem very, very scary, and they're only going to escalate from here. The rhetoric from the mainstream media, especially on the conservative side, channels like Fox, channels like Newsmax, they're saying Houthi terrorist. They're using that kind of language. And anybody linked, they're saying Iran linked, Iran linked, Iran linked. This reminds me of the old Baghdad days, the George W. Bush days, when they found any excuse to go to war in the Middle East. We're supposed to be pulling back tensions. And I wonder how Donald Trump, and how he will handle this situation. Because you know him, he goes, it's our beautiful, beautiful Israel. If you're going to support Israel, you're going to be in the freaking avenue, in the lane of World War III. And that's very, very scary. So this is something to keep an eye on.